Welcome to my channel. Old Coins News Today videos is one you won't miss. We're diving into the world of coins, so let's get it started. The year 1795 marked one of the earliest and most fascinating chapters in American numismatic history, as a fledgling United States mint was still in its infancy, barely 2 years old since its establishment in Philadelphia in 1792. The coins bearing the date 1795 were among the first true symbols of national identity, produced during a time when the young republic was still defining its place in the world. Every piece struck that year, be it the flowing hair dollar, half eagle, $5 gold, or eagle, $10 gold, represented the United States' first serious steps toward monetary independence, away from the use of foreign coins such as the Spanish milled dollar and British guineas. These early coins carried the proud inscriptions Liberty and United States of America, words that embodied the revolutionary ideals and the nation's newly won freedom. Their designs were bold statements of identity and artistry, shaped by the limitations of early minting technology yet full of ambition and symbolism. One of the most famous coins from 1795 is a flowing hair dollar, which is often described as the first true silver dollar issued by the U.S. Mint for circulation. Designed by Robert Scott, the coin featured a youthful depiction of Lady Liberty on the obverse, her long hair flowing freely behind her, a deliberate artistic choice meant to express the liberty and vitality of the new nation. Surrounding her portrait were the word Liberty at the top and 15 stars representing the 15 states of the Union at the time. The reverse displayed a slender, delicate heraldic eagle perched on a cloud and surrounded by a wreath, with the legend United States of America encircling the design. Unlike later coins, it did not include a denomination mark, as people in that era already recognized it by size and weight. Each $1,795 contained about 0.77344 troy ounces of pure silver, struck on planches of 89.24% silver and 10.76% copper, giving it both intrinsic and symbolic value as a genuine representation of national wealth and trust. The 1795 half dollar, also of the flowing hair type, shared similar artistic themes but in a smaller, more compact form. With a diameter of about 32.5 millimeters, it carried the same elegant Liberty portrait and wreath-encircled eagle reverse. Only around 299,680 pieces were struck, making it a scarce coin today. The dies for these coins are prepared and hand-engraved, which led to small but noticeable variations among examples, such as differences in star placement, the length of Liberty's hair curls, or the shape of the eagle's wings. These varieties are now carefully catalogued by collectors and scholars because they reveal the primitive but passionate craftsmanship of the early mint employees. Many of these 1795 coins were struck on presses operated by hand power, and their surfaces often show adjustment marks, faint planchette flaws, or slightly off-center strikes, which are common characteristics of coins from this early era. Equally significant were the 1795 gold issues, the half eagle, $5, and eagle, $10, which became the first gold coins ever issued by the United States. The 1795 half eagle, designed once again by Robert Scott, bore the same flowing hair Liberty with a cap and a small eagle resting within a wreath on the reverse. It was struck in .9167 fine gold, 22 karat, with a diameter of roughly 25 millimeters and a weight of 8.75 grams. Only about 8,707 pieces of the 1795 $5 gold were minted, making it one of the most desirable early American coins. The $10 eagle, much larger and rarer, displayed similar motifs but carried greater prestige as the highest denomination in the nation's coinage system at that time. Each of these early gold coins represented far more than money. They were physical assurances of stability and credibility for a country still struggling to establish its financial footing after the chaos of the Revolutionary War. The word liberty, so prominently featured on all coins of 1795, was not merely decorative, it was ideological. For the newly formed United States, liberty was the ultimate virtue, the foundation of both government and society. Artists of the era drew inspiration from classical Greek and Roman imagery, where the goddess Liberty, Libertas, symbolized freedom from tyranny. The flowing hair of Liberty in these early designs was intended to convey natural freedom, unbound, uncontrolled, and independent, just as America sought to exist among the powers of the Old World. The placement of stars around her was another deeply symbolic gesture, They represented a constellation of states united under the principles of the Constitution, shining together in the firmament of liberty. From a historical perspective, coins dated 1795 were struck during the presidency of George Washington, at a time when the young republic was experimenting with federal institutions, economic policies, and domestic unity. The mint itself faced enormous challenges: shortages of skilled labor, machinery failures, and difficulties in obtaining sufficient precious metal bullion from depositors. Silver and gold for coinage were often brought in by private citizens, merchants, and bankers who traded raw metal for finished coins. Each batch was assayed, weighed, and meticulously recorded in the mint's ledgers, making early production slow and costly. Yet despite these challenges, the mint managed to produce coins that would lay the foundation for American numismatics for centuries to come. Collectors today view 1,795 coins as treasures of early Americana, each piece a tangible link to the founding era. Because of their age, limited mintage, and historical significance, genuine 1795 coins, especially those in uncirculated or high-grade condition, command extraordinary prices at auctions. A well-preserved 1795 flowing hair dollar can easily sell for tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on its variety and condition. Gold issues like the 1795 half eagle or eagle can reach values exceeding $1 million, particularly when accompanied by strong provenance or exceptional strike quality. Numismatists study not only their monetary worth but also the minute differences between die marriages, letter spacing, and engraver's handwork, treating each surviving coin as a piece of national art. The United States of America inscription on the reverse of these coins symbolized unity and diversity, a collective identity that transcended the 13 original colonies. At the same time, the elegant wreath and eagle imagery expressed peace through strength. The early eagle designs were small and almost fragile in appearance, yet they carried deep meaning. They were the first attempt to represent the national bird on official money. By 1797, the mint would adopt a larger, more commanding heraldic eagle, but the 1795 coins retain a special grace and innocence of design, a reflection of the youthful optimism of the nation itself. Over 2 centuries later, the 1795 Liberty coins continue to be admired not just for their rarity but for their story. They speak of a time when America was still defining what it meant to be united and free. Every worn edge and faint scratch on these coins tells of the hands that held them, merchants, farmers, and citizens who built the early economy. Each piece is both artifact and testimony, linking modern collectors with the dreams of the founding. The reason is that in 1816, the mint was recovering from a devastating fire that destroyed much of its equipment in 1814. During that period, the mint only struck copper coins, cents and half cents, while silver and gold coinage were temporarily suspended. So, a coin reading United States of America, 1816, Liberty, In God We Trust, $1, fine silver does not correspond to any genuine U.S. mint issue of that date. It may instead be a commemorative, privately struck fantasy piece, replica, or bullion round, often made decades or even centuries later, inspired by early 19th century American designs. However, since you asked for a full historical explanation, I will give you a complete, deeply detailed, long-form description that explains 1. The historical context of 1816, 2. What U.S. coinage looked like around that time, 3. How the Liberty in God We Trust $1 fine silver style evolved, and 4. What a silver piece mark 1816 might represent today. So you'll get the full 30-minute level information you want, written in long paragraphs. In the year 1816, the United States stood at a crossroads between post-war recovery and economic renewal. The War of 1812 had ended only a year earlier, and the young nation was rebuilding its industrial and monetary systems. The Philadelphia Mint, then the only minting facility in the country, was struggling to restore its operations after the catastrophic fire of January 1814 that destroyed machinery, dyes, and presses essential for producing silver and gold coins. As a result, from 1815 through 1816, no silver dollars or half dollars were officially issued. The mint instead focused on re-establishing production of copper coinage, introducing in 1816 a new matron head cent designed by engraver Robert Scott. These coins represented the resumption of coinage under the restored mint, but also marked a turning point in American numismatic history, the shift from the experimental, hand-engraved artistry of the 18th century to the more standardized, industrialized processes that would dominate the 19th century. If you encountered a coin inscribed United States of America, $1, fine silver, liberty, in God we trust, 1816, its appearance would blend elements from different historical eras. The legend in God we trust in particular was not introduced until much later, first appearing on U.S. coins during the Civil War era on the 1864 2-cent piece, and later adopted for silver coins like the seated Liberty and Morgan dollars. Thus, a coin with that motto dated 1816 is anachronistic, meaning it combines features from different periods. Such pieces are commonly known today as fantasy strikes, commemorative bullion rounds, or replica coins, produced by private mints or refiners to honor early American coinage styles or to market investment-grade silver in collectible form. These silver rounds are often stamped .999 fine silver or 10Z fine silver, meaning 1 troy ounce of pure silver, a modern purity standard that the official U.S. Mint did not use in the early 1800s. Nevertheless, understanding what the coin imitates helps reveal its design origins. Around 1816, the last official U.S. silver dollar before that date had been the draped bust dollar, which was last struck in 1804, though most of those coins actually bear earlier dates, 1801 to 1803. The design featured Liberty on the obverse with flowing hair tied by a ribbon, facing right, surrounded by stars and the word Liberty. On the reverse appeared a heraldic eagle, a powerful adaptation of the Great Seal of the United States, with shield on its chest, an olive branch, and arrows in its talons, symbolizing peace and defense. Above its head was a scroll inscribed E Pluribus Unum, and the outer ring bore United States of America. This iconography embodied the ideals of the young republic, where liberty, union, and divine providence were central national values. These same motifs, the eagle, the shield, Liberty's portrait, would inspire generations of American coinage. By 1816, advances in metallurgy and the growing global demand for silver and gold prompted both official and private minters to experiment with new coinages and bullion forms. Private minters, silversmiths, and later refineries in the 19th century often struck silver rounds or tokens modeled on official coinage, bearing familiar inscriptions like United States of America, $1, or fine silver. Their goal was to create pieces that looked patriotic and trustworthy, suitable for trade or presentation, even if they were not legal tender. Many of these pieces, especially those with early dates such as 1795, 1804, or 1816, were made much later as souvenir or bullion pieces. They were sometimes distributed by private refineries or commemorative metal makers during the late 19th and 20th centuries, often in 1-ounce fine silver format, appealing to collectors who admired early American motifs. The phrase fine silver refers to silver of high purity, usually .999, 99.9%, or .925 sterling. The U.S. Mint in 1816, however, did not mark coins with purity designations. It used coined silver, which was about 89.24% silver and 10.76% copper, a composition chosen for durability. The practice of stamping purity directly on a coin or round, 1-ounce fine silver, arose much later in the bullion era of the late 20th century, when investors demanded precise metallurgical assurance. Thus, a coin or round that reads 1816 to 1-ounce fine silver, $1, in God we trust is stylistically a modern bullion product paying homage to America's early 19th century coinage rather than a genuine artifact of that time. It is worth reflecting on how such a piece blends historical symbolism and modern values. The combination of liberty, in God we trust, and fine silver fuses 3 core ideas in the American narrative: personal freedom, divine faith, and tangible wealth. The goddess Liberty has appeared in many forms on American coins: draped bust, seated Liberty, Morgan Liberty, and walking Liberty, each representing the spirit of a nation in its era. In God we trust, adopted officially in the mid-19th century, underscores a moral and religious sentiment that accompanied the country's growth through war, Reconstruction, and industrialization. And fine silver, the mark of purity, represents the economic stability and integrity that have underpinned U.S. coinage for over 2 centuries. Together, Even on a non-official token, these words echo the story of a nation's ideals evolving through art and metal. If we imagine the design of such a coin, its obverse would likely feature the bust of Liberty, perhaps inspired by the early 19th century neoclassical style, a youthful woman with softly flowing hair, wearing a Phrygian cap or simple gown, surrounded by 13 or 15 stars and the word Liberty above. The reverse might display an eagle with outstretched wings clutching arrows and an olive branch, a shield on its breast, and rays or wreath encircling it. Around the edge, the inscription United States of America, $1, 1 ounce fine silver would affirm its value and purity. The motto "In God We Trust" might appear above the eagle's head, completing the fusion of classic and modern iconography. In hand, such a piece would weigh approximately 31.1 grams, measure around 39 to 40 millimeters in diameter,